All right, think about this for a second. Have you ever had one of those moments where your best laid plans go completely haywire, but it ends up being the most memorable part of the whole adventure?
Oh, absolutely. Just last week, my group was exploring an ancient temple.
Hang on, let me finish my thought. It's like you walk into a situation expecting one thing, and then bam, the universe throws you a curveball, and you're left scrambling to make sense of it all.
I hear you. And speaking of curveballs, my group's temple exploration went from a solemn investigation of ancient artifacts to a full-blown escape from a collapsing ceiling thanks to one incredibly unfortunate dice roll.
Okay, hold that thought. Today we're diving deep into the gloriously unpredictable world of dumb luck in D&D. We've got this fantastic article from LitRPG Reads that explores how those moments of utter randomness can completely transform a campaign.
What's fascinating about this article is that it doesn't just present these moments as funny anecdotes. It actually digs into why they're so crucial to the D&D experience.
Right. Like the author starts by describing this meticulously planned campaign he created. It's full of intrigue, challenging encounters, all that good stuff. And then, as he puts it, the dice decided to have a party of their own.
He actually includes a table in the article, contrasting his original plans with the hilariously disastrous outcomes caused by bad luck. It's a perfect illustration of how those critical fails. And improbable rolls can throw even the most seasoned DM for a loop.
Okay, so one example that really stood out to me was this stealth mission the DM had envisioned. This super strategic infiltration of a bandit camp, all cloak and dagger.
But as luck would have it, the party rolls a string of terrible perception checks. Instead of sneaking in undetected, they end up stumbling right into the middle of the camp, triggering an ambush before they even realize what's happening.
Exactly. And the article uses this example to highlight how random chance is woven into the very fabric of D&D. Keeps players on their toes, because you never really know what's going to happen next.
It's like the dice are, these tiny agents of chaos, constantly reminding us that no matter how much we plan, there's always an element of unpredictability that we have to contend with.
And that's where the fun comes in, right? The article has this whole section called When the Dice Have Other Ideas, which is basically a collection of those, you can't make this stuff up, moments.
We're talking critical fails that lead to absurd outcomes, improbable rolls that allow enemies to escape or players falling victim, to harmless but embarrassing effects, the kind of stuff that makes you want to bury your face in your character sheet and pretend it never happened.
Oh, totally. Like I remember this one time, our party's barbarian tried to intimidate a goblin by smashing a table with their bare hands. Critical fail. They completely miss the table, fall flat on their face, and the goblin just starts laughing, hysterically.
The article argues that instead of getting frustrated by these moments, players should learn to embrace them, see them as opportunities for improvisation and storytelling, rather than setbacks.
And the players,
Yeah.
in this particular campaign, seem to have taken that advice to heart. The article highlights how they consistently turned their bad luck into hilarious situations, often by thinking on their feet and coming up with creative solutions to the problems their dice rolls created.
There's this great example where the party is trying to cross a rickety bridge. Naturally, someone rolls a critical fail on their strength check, and the bridge collapses, sending them plummeting into the river below.
Classic. But instead of panicking, the players decide to play it up. One of them claims to be a master swimmer and starts giving a theatrical performance of battling a giant imaginary river serpent.
The DM, seeing the potential for fun, rolls with it. Suddenly, the imaginary serpent becomes real, and what was initially a simple mishap turns into this epic battle against a creature that exists solely because of a lucky or unlucky dice roll.
And you know what? The article points out that these shared experiences of facing adversity, but doing it with humor, actually strengthen the bonds between the players.
They created a shared history of absurdity, a collection of remember that time, stories that brought them closer together. It's like a testament to the idea that sometimes the best memories come from the moments where everything goes gloriously wrong.
Welcome back to our deep dive into the unpredictable realm of dumb luck in D&D. We've been exploring how those moments, when the dice have a mind of their own, can actually enrich your campaigns in surprising ways.
It's not just about the last, right? The article we're discussing goes beyond simply acknowledging the comedic potential of these situations. It delves into how DMs and players can actively leverage dumb luck to make their games more dynamic and engaging.
One of the key takeaways for me is the emphasis on leaning into player improvisation. Instead of trying to force the game back onto the rails, something unexpected happens. The article encourages DMs to empower their players to think on their feet and come up with
Creative solutions.
It's like saying, okay, the universe just threw you a curveball. What are you going to do with it?
Exactly. The article provides a compelling example of this in action. The party is attempting to negotiate with a reclusive hermit, hoping to gain access to some hidden knowledge. But one player rolls a natural one on their persuasion check.
Ouch, that's never a good sign.
Right. Instead of simply ruling that the negotiation failed, the DM seizes the opportunity. The hermit, already suspicious of outsiders, becomes convinced that the party is trying to trick him.
Talk about adding fuel to the fire.
Now the players have to think outside the box. They need to find a way to prove their sincerity and regain the hermit's trust. Maybe they offer to complete a task for him, or perhaps they uncover a hidden threat to his safety that they can help neutralize.
So what started as a simple failed roll becomes a catalyst for an entirely new adventure, driven by the player's need to overcome the obstacle their own bad luck created.
The article stresses that this approach not only makes the game more dynamic, but also gives players a greater sense of agency. They're not just reacting to the DM's predetermined plot points. They're actively shaping the narrative through their responses to unforeseen circumstances.
And let's not forget the comedic goldmine that these situations often provide. Who doesn't love a good story about a party trying to talk their way out of a mess they accidentally created?
The article also delves into the art of incorporating mishaps into the larger narrative. It's about taking those moments of chaos and weaving them into the fabric of the world, making them feel like they were always meant to be there.
So it's not just about laughing at the moment
Right.
and moving on. It's about using those incidents to enrich the world building and add depth to the story.
Exactly. Let's say the party's wizard accidentally sets fire to a local tavern while trying to impress the barmaid with a flashy spell. Instead of brushing it off as a simple accident, the DM could use this incident to introduce a recurring element to the campaign.
Like maybe the tavern becomes known as the Scorched Keg and becomes a popular hangout for adventurers with a penchant for fire-based spells.
Precisely. Or perhaps the incident sparks a local ordinance that bans all magic within the town limits, forcing the party to find creative ways to use their abilities without attracting unwanted attention.
It's about taking those seemingly insignificant moments and turning them into seeds that can grow into something much bigger and more interesting.
And the article also highlights the importance of using those moments of chaos to build camaraderie among the players. When everyone is laughing together at the absurdity of the situation, it creates a shared experience that bonds them together.
It's like those remember that time stories
Yeah.
that you and your friends tell years later, the ones that always seem to involve some epic fail or hilarious mishap. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive, where we've been exploring the fascinating role of dumb luck in D&D. We've talked about how those seemingly disastrous dice rolls can actually lead to some of the most hilarious and memorable moments.
In your campaigns, it's almost paradoxical, isn't it? We often go into games, especially strategic ones like D&D, trying to exert as much control as possible. Yet this article reminds us that sometimes the most engaging and entertaining experiences arise when we let go of that control and embrace the unexpected.
It's like those moments in life when you have a meticulously crafted plan and then, well, life happens.
Exactly. And instead of getting frustrated, you have to adapt, improvise, and maybe even laugh at the absurdity of it all.
And the article we've been discussing doesn't just tell us to embrace the chaos. It actually provides some really practical advice on how to transform those moments of dumb luck into comedic gold.
One of the key elements it highlights is comedic timing. It's that art of knowing when to pause for effect, when to build suspense, and when to deliver the punchline.
Think of it like telling a joke. If you rush through it, you lose the impact. But if you take your time, set the scene, and create anticipation, the payoff is so much greater.
The article gives a great example of this in action. The party is attempting to sneak past a group of guards. Naturally, someone rolls a terrible stealth check and alerts the guards to their presence.
And instead of just describing, the guards immediately apprehending the party, the DM draws it out. He describes the guards' confused expressions as they hear a noise, the slow creaking of their armor as they turn to investigate, the gradual dawning realization that something is amiss.
And then just as the players are bracing themselves for a confrontation, the DM reveals that the source of the noise wasn't the party at all. It was a stray cat knocking over a stack of pots and pans.
Talk about a perfectly timed comedic twist.
It's a reminder that sometimes the best humor comes from subverting expectations,
And
playing with the element
of surprise.
The article also stresses the importance of paying attention to NPC reactions. The world doesn't stop just because the players are having a moment of dumb luck. The people around them will react to their mishaps. And those reactions can be a goldmine for comedic potential. Imagine a scenario where the party's paladin, known for their unwavering righteousness, accidentally trips and falls into a mud puddle while trying to deliver a grand, heroic speech.
I can practically hear the collective gasp
of the crowd. But instead of ignoring the reactions of those around them, the DM leans into it. He describes the townsfolk's surprised expressions, the muffled laughter, maybe even a child, pointing and shouting, "Look, the shiny knight fell down."
And maybe the paladin, known for their stoic demeanor, cracks a smile, acknowledges their clumsiness, and turns the whole thing into a self-deprecating joke.
It's about using those NPC reactions to create a sense of a living, breathing world that responds to the player's actions, both the heroic and the hilariously embarrassing.
The article also suggests that DMs can use these moments of dumb luck as opportunities for character development. Sometimes it's those unexpected challenges that force characters to grow in ways they never anticipated.
Imagine a situation where the party's rogue, known for their silver tongue and quick wit, accidentally insults a powerful fey creature.
Oh, not a good idea. To get on the bad side of a fey creature.
Now the rogue has to face the consequences of their actions. They might have to embark on a dangerous quest to earn back the fey creature's favor, or perhaps they have to learn a valuable lesson about humility and the power of words.
It's about taking those moments of supposed failure and turning them into catalysts for personal growth and self-discovery.
And ultimately, the article reminds us that D&D at its core is about shared storytelling and creating memorable experiences together.
Those moments of shared laughter, remember that time stories? They're the glue that hold a D&D group together. They're the reminders. It's not about winning or losing. It's about having fun and creating something special with the people around you.
And those special moments can arise even from the most unexpected places, like a string of critical fails or a series of ridiculously improbable dice rolls.
Absolutely. So to all our listeners out there, we encourage you to embrace the chaos, roll with the punches, and see where the dice take you.
You never know what hilarious and unforgettable adventures might be waiting just around the corner. And speaking of adventures, if you're looking for more insights and inspiration for your tabletop RPG games, we highly recommend checking out LitRPG Reads and the work of Paul Bello.
Now we'd love to hear from you. What are some of your most memorable dumb luck moments from your own D&D campaigns? Share your stories in the comments below. Until next time. Happy gaming.